It's time once again to slip into your camo, grab your bow, and join us out in the field for another episode of the Up North Journal, presented by PSE Archery. The Up North Journal crew is knocked and ready to rock for another exciting adventure. So let's step outside and hit the trail.
Welcome back to another episode of the Up North Journal, everybody. I'm host Mike Adams, sitting in the cabin tonight with Dan DeFaw. Before we get started, we want to help you save some money.
That's right, folks. Don't forget to use our promo codes to save that money. And let's start off with buckbaits.com. That's right, the brick and mortar store of Buck Baits down at Sterling Heights, Michigan at 15 and Dodge Park. Go over there. If you're on the website, buckbaits.com, use the promo code UNJ20. That will get you 20% off your order.
For those of you who are looking for Easy Cut products, make sure you go to easycutproducts.com. And when you're there, use the UNJ promo code UNJ15 off to save 15% off your order.
And let's not forget Lincoln Roan over at packermax.com. It's never too early, never too late to think about the Packer Max. Go on over to packermax.com, use the promo code UNJ25. That'll get you $25 off your order over at Packer Max Outdoor.
For those of you looking for some new firearms and firearm products, make sure you go over to theislandarmory.com. While you're there shopping, use the promo code UNJ10 to save 10% off your order there.
If you shot that bird of a lifetime and you want it mounted, don't forget Troublesome Creek Taxidermy. We've had them live on the show. We've talked to them. You want to get 10% off your order, go to Facebook, go to troublesome.creek.7, find their website. If you go to our website, UNJ, make sure to click on the button to download the form. You get 10% off over there using the code UNJ10.
Looking for that game call, whether it be a squirrel, whether it be goose, duck, deer, make sure you go to JPO Game Calls. Look for them at jpogamecalls.com, and while you're there shopping, use the UNJ10 promo code to save 10% off your order.
And Miller Deer Tracking, the man that seems to never sleep during deer season. Get 20% off your next deer tracking using the promo code UNJ20. Look for Miller Deer Tracking on Facebook or give him a call over at 810-240-4891.
Looking for the hottest new plastics to take on the water, whether it be hard water or soft water? Make sure you go over to southern.indiana.baitco.com. While there, use the UNJ promo code UNJ10 to save 10% off your order.
Deer Camp Coffee, folks. We drink it every night on the show. You want to try it? You can go to the brick and mortar store at 15 and Dodge Park at Deer Camp itself, or go to deercampcoffee.com. Also use our promo code UNJ10. You get 10% off your order. And don't forget, get a bag of the UNJ medium roast blend there as well.
All right, Danny, where's our live view camera look from tonight?
You are looking live tonight, downtown Mount Pleasant, folks. That's right, where it's a balmy 35 degrees here in February. And I don't see a stitch of snow anywhere, but maybe on the piles there by the road. But it is warm in Michigan.
Snow's gone, man.
Right?
Didn't take long either. That 8 inches or whatever we got here last week is all gone. I'm loving it. The weather's warmed up, and welcome back to another episode of the Up North Journal, everybody. Host Mike Adams sitting in the cabin tonight. It's a little warm in here. Of course, we're dressed a little warm. We're going to take care of that here in just a second.
Right.
We got something we got on we want to show you. It has to do with tonight's show. Dan DeFaw sitting here with me. What's going on, Danny?
Well, we're here and we're getting into the middle of February like we talked about. We're definitely in the middle of show season. I don't know. The next week we're going to be in the 40s. I really don't have much to say. It's like, okay, so ice is probably going to be on the way out anytime. I think that's why somebody's heading up to the lower Michigan, right? Adam, he's heading up.
He's going up to
Mullet, right?
Mullet Lake. He's supposed to be ice fishing this weekend. Hopefully the ice is good up there. We had 14 fishermen get caught off Quantic Sea night before last on ice flow. Guys, ice is treacherous right now. You guys got to watch out going out. Make sure you know where you're going. Let somebody know where you're going. So
exactly. But like last week we talked to Lance Valentine, and he wasn't an ice fisherman, so he's probably getting a little giddy. But he's in the middle of show season. He understands that. Like you said, he doesn't wait till after show season, which is just about April for him.
Yep.
And he's off and running. But I think we should stick with the fishing scene.
Well, yeah. You brought something over here tonight.
I did.
For us here, so this kind of give you a clue. I got the Western Michigan Broncos Bass Team shirt on, and you got
good old Central Michigan.
So we're going to have the Battle Royale tonight.
We're going to have a Collegiate Battle Royale, folks.
Well, I tell you what, let's just jump right into it here. We got We got both colleges on tonight, and we want to introduce John and John, Western John and Central Michigan John. Guys, no fighting tonight in the cabin, okay? We got to keep it. You guys take that to the water. Welcome to the show.
Cool.
What's up?
Hey, thanks for having us.
Hey, not a problem. Good to have you guys on.
Can you imagine these guys, and there was 2 other colleges all in the same row at one fishing show having to be all nice to each other?
I don't know, but what was the other 2 colleges?
Michigan State and what was the other one?
Who was there with you guys?
Lawrence Tech.
Lawrence Tech.
Lawrence
There you
Tech.
go.
Okay, all right.
U of M was there too.
Oh, that's right. That is right. There's a story behind that.
We don't need to mention them.
No, we got to mention this because this is funny.
Okay.
So U of M was there, but when we showed up and I met these gentlemen, it was Sunday. And I think I was talking to John.
Which John?
Well, CMU John. I think you have the Michigan sweater, right?
Yeah.
So he's like, well, Michigan was here, but they sold out of everything and they're gone. And they're down to this Michigan shirt. He had it on like the corner of the table, right? The sweatshirt. It was like a 2XL. And it says on there, it said, make offer. And of course, Denise is looking at me and she's like, I said, well, make an offer. And so we ended up with a Michigan sweatshirt out of the deal. But it's so good to have you guys on about your story. You guys, I met you for just a quick, short time. Tell me a little bit back about you guys and how you got to where you are on the bass fishing team first. We'll go to Western Michigan first, and tell us how you got to where you are today on the team.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of goes back. I don't really have any relatives or family that fishes at all. Like my dad, my uncles, my cousins, none of them, bass fish or tournament bass fish. And my uncle invited me to go on a walleye trip for a week and just kind of do some fishing. And I came back, I was like 8th grade, 9th grade. I came back, I was I was like, this is awesome, but this is only 7 days of it, right? I was like, I bet you I could do this more. And then I, came back and I got interested in it. Just, I borrowed a boat from a friend, just went out a couple of times. And then the next summer after that, I came out a couple more times. And I've always been a sport person. I played, soccer in high school. I played cross country and I golfed all in high school. So I was competitive. I was like, okay, can I take this fishing thing, which I have a lot of passion for, a lot of motivation to do, and combine it with this, sporting competitive edge that I already have. And I just kind of was like, okay, what's out there? And they're like, oh, there's these fishing tournaments. People go and catch fish and you bring them back in and this guy weighs them for you. And then I was like, okay, well, do they do that in college? And then I just kind of, was like, okay, Western's got a college team. Let me join that team. I kind of got into it like that. And that's kind of the story of it. Yeah.
So along them lines, and I know like sporting competitive edge, like playing baseball, football, hockey, basketball, whatever, soccer. But I also know the competitive edge when it comes to the outdoors. We hear the horror stories, like, you shot my deer, or that's my fishing hole. I mean, I think almost the competitive level steps up even a notch from like maybe the sports side of it. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, I agree. And for me, I'm pretty, relaxed, when I'm out there just having fun, on the off days and practicing hard, of course. But when it's like tournament day, it's just like there's like a new person, just like the edge is on and anything just kind of sets me off. I'm trying to focus and do the best I can do. I'm not really out there to just have fun. I'm out there to win. I'm going for first, not second. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And fishing just kind of was like passion, that competitive edge, and then wanting to win was all together in that. So I totally get what you're saying there.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, so we know how you got there now. CMU, John, how did you end up on the CMU bass fishing team?
So if I was to tell the whole story, we'd probably be here all night because I can't tell a short story. But I grew up hunting and fishing. My dad was the main guy that always took me out. He had a Lund back in the day. He fished some of the I think it was like the Michigan Walleye Tour or whatever for a small bit, and I ended up getting into baseball. Started playing baseball. Did travel baseball, so that he ended up selling the boat because we were always summertime always at my tournament.
Not using it, right? We'll get rid of the boat.
Yeah, and then of course his work got in the way too. But yeah, so then I started slowly getting more into fishing. In I want to say it was like end of middle school, early high school. and because my dad wanted to get kayaks because it's been so long without the boat. We started hitting the river in our town. Just started floating and throwing twister tails for smallmouth. And the smallmouth in the river don't get very big, but man, they fight like a ton of bricks. And I started really enjoying that and slowly started figuring out how to catch them. And then of course, so this is kind of funny, but we got I think our TV died or something, so we got a new TV box, whatever, and it had the outdoor channel. Well, we hadn't had the outdoor channel before, so they were showing MLF, Major League Fishing on there, and I immediately grew into that and was like, what is this? And watching them fish and in these tournaments and all that, I was like, man, that's one of the coolest things I've ever seen. Well, then it came down to where I wanted to go to college, and my mom one day told me that she's like, hey, CMU has a bass fishing club, because I was debating whether or not to go to MSU or CMU, and she's like, and I'm like, really? And so I went to the Novi show and talked to Jason, who was president at the time, and I'm like, I got to do this. So I ended up making the decision to come to CMU, and then the rest is history from there.
There you go. So you end up both on your college's team, and from that point on, you started fishing. But
well, before we get going, I gotta clear something here real quick, because I was
gonna let it fester a little bit.
Yeah, I'm not, because I got put in the doghouse. I'm an Alabama fan, but I'm representing Western Michigan tonight, and Danny's got Central. But my girlfriend went to Central, and she graduated from there. She's a Chip, so I got some splaining to do, I guess.
You do.
So we'll continue on from there.
But talking to you guys at the show, this being funded basically on your own, so you're basically thinking about this 365 days a year then, because we met at the show, and that's in January. So basically you guys are thinking about this 365 then.
Absolutely. Yeah. I totally agree with that, because like when you're fishing during the summer, we start fishing, the pretty serious anglers start fishing late March, early April, and the tournaments start early June, and then you fish all the way until late August, September, when school's starting to start again. So that you have a small off season for fishing that, November, October, December, January months, that you have time to reach out to potential sponsors, go to these shows, meet new people during that time. So it really is an all year kind of deal, especially with the time constraints. If you have a job, I work, and then I have school, and then I have fishing, and there's not a lot of in between time there. So I got to take advantage of the time I do have, which is, it just happens to be just kind of an all year kind of thing.
Looking at that, talking about being so busy, both of you, how do you juggle work, school, fishing? Because I know what the outdoors means to me. And obviously you guys got a huge passion for this as well. And you've got to get your studies in. How do you manage that when it starts coming into the spring and you got to get on the water? Either one of you just jump in.
You just kind of go with the flow. That's kind of how I've done it. This is my first year and only the year I'm going to run the club, because I'm a senior. But yeah, I don't have a job currently, because I struggled to maintain a job just and keep up with schoolwork. Sure. I figured that out. But running the club, I'm doing it most of the week, I guess. It depends on the type of or the time of year, I guess. But summertime is our main tournament fishing, because we do all of our tournaments in state. We have had a couple of guys go out of state in the past. Just that, going out of state, costs more money, and
right.
You miss school and stuff for those tournaments. But summertime's our tournaments, and then kind of the fall through spring is our off season, where we do try and go out and grab sponsors, fundraise, and all that. And of course, as president, and of course, other members in the club, we really try and focus on getting everything ready for tournament season and the rest of the time. Plus, we have our club meetings, and just try and talk about fishing at least once a month for a meeting. And we're trying to bring in guest speakers as well to talk about fishing, so we can learn more. And yeah,
juggling a lot of different things.
You're juggling, and on top of that all, you are sponsoring a ice fishing tournament in a couple weeks here, out at 8 Point Lake. It's an 8 Point Lake ice fishing derby. It's $10 per person. and it helps support the CMU Bass Fishing Club here. And hopefully you got enough ice. But if you go to the CMU page, you're on the west side of the state, you want to do some ice fishing, support the club. You can see it up there on the screen right now. They got some great sponsors there within Jay's coming in to help out there. But so you're doing a lot. Getting the word out, getting so that money's in for the college bass tour that you guys are going to do. And that starts when?
I think the first tournament
is good.
June 3rd. I think it's on Elk and Torch. I think that's the first tournament.
Okay. I'll tell you, we'll bump up here on the first break. Let's talk more about the tournament scene when we come back. We're going to take our first break. When we come back, we'll catch up with you on that. So we're going to step outside, and we'll be right back after this.
PSE Archery has reinvented the way you buy bows.
From now on, you can make the most educated decision possible
by basing your bow choice specifically on your shooting needs and goals.
All you need to do is ask yourself, what kind of shooter am I? What do I want to achieve?
PSE will help find the right category for you.
So, what kind of shooter are you?
Find out at psearchery.com.
Welcome back, second segment of the show. Sitting here with Central Michigan, Western Michigan. We're talking bass fishing. Yeah, I know it's February, but we're talking fundraising. And, this is not what they call a collegiate type sport. It's a club sport. Am I right in saying that, guys?
Correct.
Yeah, it's a club sport. It's not monitored by the NCAA, so there's, a lot of club, things that come with it.
Like what?
So they could weight their fish and get away with it.
No.
Oh.
So you guys, you want to take that? You want to take that term real quick?
Well,
We'll chase a rep. You guys heard about that, right?
Yes.
Okay. Give us a quick minute thought, each of you here. So we'll start with Western.
Really unfortunate, kind of a really bad look for, fishing as a whole, whether you're into walleye fishing or tournaments or just an everyday fisherman. Really shocking. It was just so, malicious intent. And it's not like, it's not the NFL, like all these people he's fishing against are $million athletes. I mean, they're just everyday working people he's stealing the money from.
Right.
And of course, all those fish died. He put the weights in, and just blatant cheating. And then to, represent all those sponsors in the way he was, saying it was legit, scores he was weighing in. And then just like, how he weighed in such a big bat. It was just like blatant. Every fisherman, holds up a fish. It's like, oh, that's a 2-pounder. Like, that's a 3-pounder. Yeah. And he was like holding up, 3-pounders and like calling them 8. So everyone was like, hey, what the heck? So
there's something wrong with that.
It was a little obvious, right? What do you think, CMU?
I'm in complete agreement with John from Western. I was in utter shock when I heard about it, and then, I watched the video online and all that stuff, and I was like, how is that even possible? And then to the extent that they went to cheat, like with and this is my dad's hypothesis, I haven't heard anything from anybody else, but like when they stuffed the walleye fillets in, is that they kept the weights from knocking into each other.
That's a correct statement.
So I'm just like, I couldn't believe it, and I do think that it really hurts our sport, and just like fishing and fishermen in general, because obviously not everyone's like that. You are always going to have bad apples, and it does paint us in a bad light. And I think that especially for the walleye trails, I think there will be definitely some change with how fish are scored or weighed and all that stuff. I'm not sure how much of an effect it'll have on bass fishing tournaments, because obviously we have to keep our fish alive. Putting weights in will kill them, definitely. So
right, exactly. And at the end of the day, who gets the black eye, right?
Everybody does.
Everybody does. You're gonna, man. Did they not open themselves up for the antis in you're stuffing fish with weights, you're killing them purposely for monetary gain, and so they're probably gonna get strung out probably, because that went viral, and they're gonna have to do something. They ain't gonna get off the cheap.
Well, all that stuff's been confiscated. I know the truck and the boat has been confiscated, and they're prosecuting them to the fullest extent of the law from what I've heard.
Right, exactly. So, well, good rabbit there. But we do have a question. Kalamazoo or Western John, do you ice fish?
I don't ice fish.
Okay.
Strictly bass fishing.
Strictly open water. CMU, John, you do some ice fishing, right?
Yes.
So you tell us about this little picture we got here of a smorgasbord of looks like bluegill that are on the ice.
What picture? Because I don't see it.
Well, it's a picture. It looks like somebody went out in negative temps. Looks like they got some ice. They got their shanties there. Looks like they got about a dozen bluegill laying there. But it does show that you go out and do some ice fishing, right?
Yeah. I enjoy ice fishing a lot. It's, of course, I'm always usually bass fishing, walleye fishing, and maybe perch fishing during the summer. But of course, once deer season hits, I jump to deer season, and then of course during the winter everything freezes up. I jump the ice fishing. I've done that for as long as for as far back as I can remember, and definitely remember catching gills with my dad when I was little and playing on the ice, and of course slipping and sliding around because that's fun. And then of course chasing tip ups was one of my favorites too.
So it doesn't matter what time of season he's in the outdoors. That's why he doesn't have a job, because he's chasing deer too.
For both of you guys, right? Are you both 365 out in the woods?
Try to be, yeah.
What about you, Western? You do any deer hunting or any other type of hunting?
I haven't really dabbled too much into it. A buddy came and hunted some of the property I live on, and I kind of was interested in it and kind of sat with him. She showed me some of the ropes, but I haven't really done much hunting to speak of.
Okay.
So getting back to what you guys do to get the money, but you also got, it's called the College Bass Tour, correct?
Mm.
Yeah.
Yes.
And from there, you've got some great sponsors with DNR Sports, Minn Kota, KVD, Strike King, just to mention a few of them, Yeti, Oakley, that are out there. And if you go to the website, collegebasstour.com, you can click on the 2023. You can see where they're going to be at. It looks like they're, like you guys talked about, June, you're going to start off Elk Lake, then you're going to go to Grand River in Grand Haven, then you're going to go to Fisherman's Landing, Saginaw Rivermouth in Bay County. That's July. And then it looks like the last one, the championship is to be TBD. It's going to be in Kent County. So, you get out there. If anybody's looking to go see these guys do some fishing, if you're close by, go out, cheer them on, and go check out collegebasstour.com.
So you've got the tournament kind of scene set up, and you know where you're going to be fishing at and what dates. Do you guys get out and do any pre-fishing at all on any of those bodies of water?
Yeah, we try to pre-fish. Go, you can go ahead.
No, you're good. Go
all
ahead.
right. We try and pre-fish as much as possible. Usually, guys, some guys will fish like a week to 2 weeks in advance of the tournament, like the first weekend or before, and then some of our guys do pre-fish last minute, either the Thursday or Friday before the tournament. Usually, we try and pre-fish as much as possible.
So do you guys in your rules? I'm just asking because this was a rule in the walleye. Do you guys have a blackout date that you can't go to that lake prior to such and such the week of your tournament? Or can you just do it anytime?
We'll go to Western this time.
Yeah, there's no rules or like a lockout date for the lakes. You're allowed to just go up there and practice whenever and any time, even like the day before the tournament, you're allowed to be on the water. So there's no rules for that.
Okay, because the walleye, man, they couldn't talk to anybody. They couldn't go to the lake. They couldn't do anything. They had a blackout like 30 days prior. No, getting intel, and then they had a couple of days prior to do some fishing.
So I'm going to throw this question out, kind of going down that same road with the walleye stuff that we're familiar with. And I'll throw this to you, Western. Since I tell you what, we'll keep this easy because you're both named John. If I ask a question, we're going to Western because I got the Western shirt on, and you go to Central. Okay?
All right, that'll work.
We'll keep it easy that way. So. Now I forget what I was going to say. Oh, okay. So looking at the tournament scene, when you guys go out, you got your boat. Do you fish by yourself? Do you have a partner with you, or do you have a marshal in the boat? How does all that work when you take off?
Yeah, so the day of the tournament, it's just, your boat, and then you have a partner with you. And then we go out, fish for the 8 hours from 7 to 3. We got to be back at the launch, not fishing, and in sight by 3 o'clock, off pad, right there in the launch area. Okay. And then everyone starts, clamoring and putting their boats on the trailer, parking back up. It's kind of just a cluster of just action going on there, but down the ramp when everyone's, putting their boats on the trailer. But And they, you have your fish in the live wells, take them down, get them weighed by the weighmaster, let them go. And then we just kind of wait for everyone to finish weighing up. There's a TV there. It shows the scores. It's live updating. And we just kind of see where we stand, wait till he announces who won.
Okay, so is the guy in your boat your fishing buddy for the day? Is that somebody from your team or is it from another school? And if it's from your team, do you combine fish or do you keep your fish separate? How does that work?
Yeah, so he's going to be from our team. So it's like me and him in that boat for that weight. So our fish are combined. We're working together to, produce what they would call a bag, of fish, our best 5, because you get to weigh in 5 fish. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Good deal.
Yeah, so it's really similar. You can tell, but you can tell these guys looking through the pictures on Facebook, heading out now. CMU, John. It looks like you guys, when you go out there, it looks like you guys got to have some snacks in the boat, right?
Everybody's got snacks in the boat.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right, we're going to come back to that question in the last segment, but remember that. But so how are you guys doing actually for this year? We're a month and a half into the year with June fast approaching. How are you guys doing with your sponsors, with the funds coming in? How's that looking? Because I know you're going to be out on the West Side Show middle of March. So how's it going?
I think things are going pretty decent right now. Obviously, we were at the Ultimate Fishing Show in Novi. We had a very successful show fundraising-wise there. Got to talk to so many people I almost lost my voice on by day 3. I heavily enjoyed talking to people and maybe recruiting some people to the college fishing world, talk to some high schoolers and some just kids that fish that are going to college. As for successful-wise, I think we're doing decent. We have got quite a few discount sponsors on board already. This year's been a little bit tougher for financial sponsors or money sponsors. We're still working on it, but I have a deadline kind of set in my head for middle of March to kind of try and finalize all of our sponsors, so then I can get a banner and jerseys figured out. So
okay, Western John, how about you guys? How are you guys setting for the year so far?
Yeah, we're doing really good so far this year. We've grown every single year, and we got great sponsors this year. Like DNR Sports has continued to back us, and have given us great avenues and monetary value to our team. We've got discount sponsors like 6 Cents, Beast Coast, and then we also got some smaller sponsors like we actually have B-Dubs as one of our sponsors, and then some other places like Mustang Trailers and some other stuff. And we've been really fortunate this year with what we got. And we have already got our jerseys on the way, but we're still taking people for next year and for sponsoring our kids camp, which is something Western has kind of uniquely done, which we do for the local area and kids that want to sign up.
That's awesome.
I'm gonna throw some kudos at all the teams in that row. I was there for a little while walking about, met you guys, but I would imagine when a youngster comes up to you guys, you are bigger than life to them. And obviously, a youngster looking at Mike and I, which are the old guys, and yeah, whatever. But
the has-beens,
right? But when you can, like you said, CMU John, your voice was pretty. You were pretty on the way out there Sunday when we talked, because you sounded pretty rough. But you talking with those kids, man, it's awesome, right? You see the smile on their face, and you talk to them, and they walk away, and they're smiling away.
Yeah, you're usually talking to the parents, though, because the kid won't say anything because they're too shy or nervous to say anything. But, it's definitely pretty cool to talk to kids, because that's what our sport really needs. We really need more youth in the fishing and hunting, or any outdoors recreational lifestyle. I know we're hurting pretty bad right now for that. But I think there's a lot of hope because, there's a lot of youngsters out there that I see getting interested. But, it's pretty cool to talk to these kids. And I can give what knowledge I have and kind of just pass it along to them. I'm not sure that they would really look up to me, but I know that when I was coming into college and saw the bass team, I was pretty stoked at wow, that's actually a thing, and so it was pretty cool.
I won't lie. I'm not gonna blow smoke up your butts, but yeah, you did look bigger than life to them because you had that jersey on. But from their point of view, yeah, you guys were the bomb. I mean, you guys were at a show behind a table with your jerseys on, with your banner. I mean, that to those youngsters, man, if it helps them, they might not have talked then. But they probably talked their mom and dad's ear off in the car about because we've run into that too, and you literally got to pull it out of them to talk. But once they get talking, they don't stop, which is a great thing.
Well,
so
they look at it like, I remember when I go up, when I was a youngster, the big thing was, getting a baseball card signed by one of the Detroit Tigers, larger than life, and they're sitting there doing that. And, at that time I thought, yeah, one day I'm going to play baseball, at school and go on and be a pro, never happened. But, but at that time, that's what I thought. But something like this, in the outdoors, everybody has access to. That's the big thing.
Well, that's it, right? You guys, and getting the access to the outdoors and the way you guys got to do it by providing your own monies to do this. At the end of the day, end of the school year, whenever your season ends, I guess, you guys are probably feeling pretty good that you've accomplished a lot for the year.
I would say so. Yeah. I mean, it's always funny because, like, I've been told this by the past presidents, but like once we hit tournament season starts, it's like a weight off their shoulders because you know that you're done with the fundraising and stuff for that time being. We'll just fund the season. And tournament season happens and it's a riot. I love doing it every year. But yeah, at the end of the summer, it's disappointing because we got to come back to school, or work in my case or whatever. And but yeah, it does make you feel good at the end of the year knowing like maybe how you did or how the season went because there are goals like you want to hit as a club, and once you hit them, you feel pretty good.
Western Michigan, John, along those lines, once fundraising season's over with, man, you get it on the tournament, and talking about the team, the money that you've raised, talk a little bit about how you guys use that money and how it gets dispersed amongst the team and, how big is your team?
Yeah. So we basically kind of do like a projection. We do multiple projections throughout the year, and we kind of see, okay, this is, we have a club meeting, and we see how many people are going to attend this event, how many people are going to attend this event. Okay, we get that number, right? We look at our total monies we have raised for the year, and then we say, okay, national events, we want to put a focus on national events. So national events are going to get X amount of dollars, more than our more state or local events. And then we have our state local events. And then we just kind of use up all that money and what we got, and we pay each team out per event. And then whatever, we try to use it all. And we never had a rollover till next year. And it doesn't cover all the costs. Sometimes it's just $100. Like, hey, you're going to this tournament. Here's $100. This is going to cover your entry fee, or maybe your, half of your hotel stay or something like that. So that's kind of how it's spent throughout the year.
And that's something I didn't even think about. Hotel, food, gas, travel,
all
those, just like everybody else.
When we were talking pre-show just about, doing this in reality like Lance Valentine did, right? Yeah. You got to pay all that, right? Yeah. And now it's even more expensive. But I tell you what, we're bumping up on our second break, and when we come back, we got some questions for you guys, talking about your baits, and we'll be back after this.
All right, we're going to step outside. We'll be right back after this.
PSE Archery has always dominated the speed category. Now, the most revolutionary cam system ever to hit the market has perfected the shooting experience. Introducing PSE's Evolve Cam System, featuring extremely high let-off capabilities and the smoothest draw cycle in history. No other cam system has ever delivered this level of total comfort and total control. Experience PSE. Experience performance.
Welcome back. Third segment of the show. We got a bunch of questions piling in here. So, Danny, I'm going to let you take them, and I'm going to let you throw them to whichever one you want to throw them to.
So what we'll do is these are generic questions. So we'll start with Western for the first question, and then the second question we'll reverse it. But anyways, so Adam Wynn. Adam Wynn is our Up North Journal Fishing Pro staffer. We have an Up North Journal Fishing page. And he asks, what is your favorite type of bait to use for bass?
I have to say, a drop shot, it's just so versatile. And, one of my favorite baits is the 6 Cents Glitch. It's one of our sponsors' baits. It's a very versatile bait. You can rig it so many different ways. But using that in a drop shot it's just so versatile with where the tournaments where we fish, the type of fisheries we have to fish.
Okay. What about you, CMU?
I'm going to go down the same lines. I'm a finesse fisherman, so I love fishing anything plastic, soft plastics like the drop shot, wacky rig, Texas rig, and stuff along those lines.
So do you guys, now you said you guys use sponsors baits, but do you guys have you dabbled in making your own plastic baits?
I personally haven't. I've made some like homemade chatterbaits, homemade jigs, something that are a little bit easier. With you making the plastics, like it's a messy process. Like you have this, slime plastic, the plastic, components, and you have to heat it up and put it into an injection mold and put it in there, let it sit. And there's different types of molds. There's an injection, and then there's an OPT style mold. And I haven't done the plastics, but like jigs and chatterbaits I have.
CMU?
Yeah, I have not messed with making my own baits and stuff. Thought about it just because it's pretty cool, and I think my dad has said something about maybe wanting to try it at some point, but no, I haven't dabbled in anything.
So we've got a sponsor on the show, Southern Indiana Bait Company, and literally they started making their own plastics at the age of 15,
16, yeah.
They're out of Indiana, and if you guys ever get the chance to talk to Zion and his brother down from Indiana, it's a great story because the teacher in their high school pushed him to do this, and he won the Indiana National Business
Entrepreneur
grant. He got like $25,000 to start the business.
Moly.
Right? And it is going gangbusters. So you guys get a chance, go over, look at our page, and then go over to Southern Indiana Bait Company and
Zion Dunaway.
Yeah, and check those guys out. We'll probably have them on the show a little bit later in the year, just before probably summer. But yeah, great story. Now I think
he's a freshman at Purdue right now.
Yeah, Zion's at Purdue. So
I don't know if he's fishing up there.
But it's funny to hear him say his work week, school week, and he comes home and he does baits. And they just were down in Tennessee. So, yeah, so if you guys got any aspirations or dreams, man, go for it. You'll never know what happens. But one of the questions we'll start off with CMU this time is, so how important does your family's play a role with what you do, going to the events, helping you fundraise, obviously having to put in maybe some money? How much does that, feel to you guys?
At least for me, my family has been, incredibly supportive with helping me do this. My parents basically bought me a boat to be able to do this because I couldn't afford it. And because they trust me enough to not, damage it and, treat it carefully and stuff and be responsible. So, I'm very blessed that they were able to do that for me and allow me to fish these tournaments and stuff. But yeah, family for me is highly important with fishing this stuff. I know that, not just my family, but other members of our club's families have helped support money wise or, buy our apparel. It helps us support us that way and, help us spread word out to, the communities. So it definitely has helped us a lot.
Western Michigan, how about your family?
Yeah, my family personally, none of them fish or really understand what I do, but my dad has kind of it's been growing on him, and he's really helped me out in the boating aspect and teaching me some ways. But he kind of sat down. He's like, hey, this is the John Simmons business. It's not that your business is fishing. You got to figure it out. It's kind of what you want to make it. If you want to work hard and fish hard, you can do good. You want to meet sponsors and go out, you're gonna have to do it yourself. But he, obviously he's been super helpful, helping me guide, being words of wisdom, helping me out in a pinch. He's, been a phone call away from most of my questions and stuff, regarding that kind of stuff. And, I really can't do anything without family, especially my dad. Massive shout out and to him especially.
Family support comes in so many different ways.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
It's not just money or time. There's so many other things.
I'm sure CMU John gets the old, I can use that boat anytime I want.
Does Dad come and grab the boat every now and then and take it out for a spin?
He hasn't done that yet.
Not yet.
I usually take him out if we're using it, so
That's a good son. There you go.
There you go. So okay. So you're on this fishing team. You're trying to raise monies, but you're also going to school. So that's going to be a little tough. So what are each of you majoring in as we go along? I think CMU, John, you said you're a senior, right?
Yes, I'm a senior and going into fishery. No surprise there. I've been, and I came up with that decision because before I came to college, I was one of those seniors that like, what the heck am I going to do for a living? I thought about military, I thought about the trades, and I thought about the trades specifically because money to pay for all my fishing and hunting endeavors and stuff, and it just, my parents kept pushing me to do something that you love, and they're like, you love the outdoors, so they're like, do something out in the outdoors that you want to do, so that it doesn't feel as much like work when you go do it. And I basically settled on the biology career in fisheries, so I'm working towards that degree as we speak.
Here in Michigan, or you take something anywhere across the United States?
Well, it was funny when I signed my major. The guy I signed my major with said, he asked me a question. He said, do you want to work in state or do you want to work out of state? And I said, well, I don't really have a preference on where to go. And he said, good answer, because that opens a lot more doors. Yeah. So I really don't have a preference. I'm probably going to start off here in Michigan just with some smaller jobs and then kind of see whether or not I need to go get a master's degree, and then, see what happens from there. Or, we'll see how everything plans out or works out in the end.
There you go. All right. Western John.
Yeah, I'm currently studying at Western for a business marketing degree. I'd like to stay local. People don't realize how good we have it here with the fishing. We got some of the best fishing in the entire world right here in Michigan. And I'd like to work at Stryker Pharmaceutical or pharmaceutical tech marketing, sales, kind of any aspect within that company. Very local, very high-tech, cutting-edge company, or anything kind of that industry. But I'd love to stay local in the area.
Okay, there you go. All right, back to fishing. We'll start with Western Michigan. The scariest moment you had while fishing a tournament?
Oh, it's called spearing a wave. So when you go to these big bodies of water like Lake St. Clair, it's a small Great Lake, and you have these bass boats that are meant for inland waters, more calmer conditions. You go to these Lake St. Clair, and there's big 4, 5, 6 footers, and you're going over the waves. And then you go over a big wave, and the front of the boat just kind of goes down, and then the other wave goes over the top of your nose, and it just washes you out, and the water's up to your ankles when you're sitting there driving across the lake. It's just it's a little spooky, and it's definitely not something you try to do again. After you get hit a couple times by spearing it, you really slow down and just kind of like, let's just kind of go slow.
Welcome to the Great Lakes. What about you, CMU?
I would agree with spearing a wave. I haven't speared a wave, knock on wood, to the extent that like he's talking about. I may have like nicked one. But I would say scariest moment, I think for me, would be just the fish in the well, just worrying about the smallmouth, especially fizzing wise, or if it's too hot and all that. Besides that, I really haven't had too many scary moments on the water, except for we were out and on my dad's lawn, and we were fishing, and he caught a fish, and he's like, all right, take the picture. And he's holding it up, and he goes, why am I standing in water? And basically we panicked. We're like, we're going down. So we hustled out and got the boat out of the water, and then we drained the boat. And I said, didn't you put the plug in? He goes, yeah, I put the plug in, but it was, we couldn't see it. Well, he gets out of the boat because we're on the, at the launch now, and he put it in the wrong hole.
Oh, no.
Whoops. Oops. Yeah.
Hasn't made that mistake again, but yeah.
Have we had any fishing hooks impaled in hands, ears, anywhere?
I have not yet. Knock on wood again.
I have not either. I hit my brother in the head one time, and he bled a little bit. But besides that, I've been very fortunate.
He bled a little
bit. There's my brother.
He'll be all right.
Right.
Rub some dirt on it. You'll be
right. Exactly. So, no, that's awesome. Oh, let's get to an important one about fishing. Types of rods. What's kind of like your favorite rods that Western Michigan you like to use? Well,
I love the G Loomis rods. That's these guys right here. They have rods at pretty much every price point. They're the most sensitive. They have every different style of rod. It's kind of like a golfer, right? You can use a driver to putt, right? But it doesn't do a great job. But it's meant to drive. And fishing is the same way once you get to a top level. You have a rod that does a specific application, and G. Loomis offers those rods. And then I'd also say the Daiwa Tatula series. They have a Daiwa Tatula and a Daiwa Tatula Elite series. They kind of offer the same sensitivity. They have AGS guides, high-end components that are built in. They're light, and they're great, for the buck. I think they're some of the best rods for your money out there.
Central?
For me personally, I'm still kind of looking for a baitcaster brand that I like. I'm mainly a spinner fishing guy just because I like the finesse fish and stuff, like I said earlier. So Swait rods has been my favorite spinning rod just because it is so sensitive for as strong as of a rod it is. And I just love catching smallmouth and largemouth with it. And right now, we just signed on with Cashin for our sponsor for this year. I have a couple of Cashin bait casters, which I really like using. So I'm looking to try out some more of their products this summer and see what they can do.
All right.
You guys, you said next question by Adam?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Our Up North Journal fishing guy, Adam Wynn, he says he wants to know, have you ever been stopped by the DNR on the water during a tournament? Either one of you.
Not during a tournament, but only, in practice I've been stopped once by the Canadian Border Patrol at St. Clair.
Were you close to the border, or were you across the line? What was going on there?
I was in Canada.
Pardon?
I was in Canada fishing.
Okay.
I was in Canada fishing, yep.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. Central?
I don't think I've been stopped once, but I think it was by sheriff because I think I was going just a little bit over no wake, and because I was trying to, it was one of those docks that sticks way out, and they didn't, it's no wake within 200 foot of this thing, but I'm trying to avoid all these sailboats that are taking up the middle of the lake. Everybody's running around them, but I haven't been stopped by DNR. But last summer I watched a crap ton of boats for our college circuit. I think it was pre-fishing get stopped in the river on Manistee. Okay. A lot of people were getting checked that day, and then I watched one of our boats get stopped, which was funny. I don't know if it was DNR, if it was sheriff or Coast Guard or whoever, but he got stopped because his numbers were too close together. We were sitting there chatting back and forth, and he got stopped. And then I left, and the guy literally points to me and says, "Yeah, his stickers, yeah, do it like his." And I'm like, this is funny, but
I've never heard of the stickers being too close together.
Don't ask, right? All right, so let's do a little Western Michigan. John, you weren't at the East Side Fishing Show, were you?
I was there. I was there on Friday.
Okay. So were you able to fish in the pond?
I was not.
Okay, so then we'll go over to the Central Michigan, John. And what is it? You're indoors. You're standing on a bass boat, and you're fishing basically in a huge pool for bass.
For trout.
Is that what it was? Was trout in there?
Yeah, rainbow trout.
Okay. How was it?
That was fun. I choked during our little derby we had with the other colleges, but I was able to fish after that event got done, and I caught one, which that's really different from what we're used to. But man, that was cool.
Here you are indoors at a fishing show, fishing for trout. Yeah, that's going to be pretty cool. Hopefully, you guys do it again on the West Side show. I'm sure.
That's the plan. Is we're gonna try and do it also at GR.
Oh, that's going to be awesome. Do you guys know when that show is?
I think it's the 9th through 12th of March.
That sounds about right, which I think is the second or third weekend.
Second weekend.
Second weekend, yeah. So that sounds about right. So anybody out there listening, watching the show, you're in the area, make sure when you're walking the show, stop by. I'm assuming you guys are going to be all together again?
Yeah, that's usually how it is.
Okay. Stop by, say hi to the guys. Support them if you can. Buy a shirt, hat, whatever they got. You know what? Just buy it all and send them home.
There you go.
That'd be cool.
Open up your wallet,
right? But it looks like we're just scrolling through your pictures from the show. There's your picture. Who's the gentleman with the picture? You're holding the fish, the trout. He's got a beard, long hair.
The guy that looks like Grizzly Adams.
That's the guy.
Yeah, that's my co-angler.
Okay.
It looks like he caught a bigger one than you did.
Oh, yeah. He caught like a crap ton of big ones. And then when we were leaving the show on Sunday, he's like, I'm going back to fish the pond because they said I could.
Time to catch the dinner.
Nice. That is awesome. So, that's also the fun of being at shows, right? Meeting people. You get to do stuff like that. They announce it. And I wish I would have known it was going on. I probably would have walked over there. But, no, it's good to have fun there. So, all right. So we talked about rods. We talked about your baits. Anything else?
Tag fish. Either one of you catch a tag fish?
I've caught one smallmouth that had a lip tag. It was a little piece of metal inside the mouth of it that it tracked. It was around like the lip, and it was like a tracking number for the DNR. And sometimes if you send them in, you get money. This one, it did not get any money, but it was cool to see kind of the information on it.
What kind of information do they give you back on something like that?
If it was they tell you whether it's like a stockfish, where it was, released at, if they planted it somewhere, stuff like that, or like when was the last time, like when it was tagged and what was the measurement. So like this one was like, I don't know, it was like 3.5 pounds, and when they had it, it was like 12-inch, or it was small, it had grown, and they were trying to see how long, how big it had grown every year and stuff like that. So nice. that was the deal with that.
Okay, CMU, you catch one?
Not yet. I've seen plenty of people that I know with pictures of catching tagged fish. Definitely want to be able to do it at some point. So hopefully luck is on my side for that. And yeah, he's right with the information that gets back on it, because when my fisheries class last semester, we talked a lot about the tags. And the lip tag is one of those that's like non-intrusive on the fish. So it's a lot. It's not lethal to the fish or really harms it in any way. So, but it provides a lot of information when you send them in.
Very cool.
That's cool. Have you ever had a tournament called off because of weather?
Not yet.
Not yet. It's Michigan. Give it time. The one thing I could think of it would be if it was maybe if you had gale force winds or lightning. I think that.
Yeah, we had
right?
one called off when the Michigan College Bass Circuit, or actually, I can't remember if it was Michigan. Yeah, it was Michigan College Bass Circuit when they were around. We had a 2-day tournament on St. Clair. The first day was College Bass Tour. The second day was MCBC, and the first day was really nice weather. Got a bit scary at the end with a storm that rolled over, but the second day it was just flat raining, lightning. We were going out of I can't remember the name of the launch. Not Selfridge.
Metro?
We're not Metro. It's the one in the middle.
North River.
Are we entering?
No, if you're going out Lake St. Clair, if you didn't go out of Selfridge and you didn't go to Metro, you went out of North River Road.
Yeah, so I think
the
that's
one in
right.
between, right?
But the launch flooded.
Oh,
the launch was underwater with how much rain was coming down. So they ended up calling it because the lightning wasn't laying off, and so that's the only one I think I've had called for weather.
So we're gonna bump up on our last break here. Before we go to break, so if anybody listening or catches the show on YouTube or wherever, or from you guys sharing the show, where can they go to get a hold of you if they want to help you out any way they can? Is it best to go through Facebook to your Facebook pages?
Either one of you. Central, you go first.
I would say it's definitely best to go through our Facebook page, Central Michigan University Bass Fishing, or on our Instagram at CMU Bass Fishing. That's the best way to reach out to us, because I run those right now. We check them daily for the most part, so that's the easiest way to get a hold of us. But then we also have an email which you can find on our Facebook page too, and I check that at least once a week or so.
Okay, and Western.
Yeah, Instagram, Facebook, just shoot us a private message, DM. We also have an email, phone number. Feel free to do any of those, but DM on Instagram or private message on Facebook is definitely the best way to just get a hold of us. We're very responsive on it. We'll get back to you as soon as possible.
Okay, all right. With that, we're going to take our last break, and we're going to step outside. We'll be right back after this.
Acceleration is part of PSE's DNA. PSE pioneered the speed movement. Now they've developed the vapor category to help you find the most powerful bows on the market to fit you.
High speed equates to intense power and building the momentum you need to be successful. Are you a vapor shooter? Find out at psearchery.com.
All right, last segment of the show. We got a couple quick questions here still coming in, and then we'll get to our usual 4 that we ask.
Yeah. So real quick, one of the questions is, have you ever fished the Little Bay Danac, or have you fished anywhere in the UP for anything, I guess? So start with you at the top, Western Michigan.
Yeah, I fished in Watersmeet, Michigan. I fished at Golgebic. I've been, there's a bunch of other small lakes on the west side Wisconsin border. It's called the Sylvania Tract. There's a bunch of channel lakes and stuff over there I've fished.
All right.
Central?
I have not fished in the UP yet. Definitely want to hit Bay to Knock. Maybe some backwoods water lakes around there just to see maybe what's in them.
I tell you what, because I have my cabin up there in the UP, the western end, and it is probably one of the Wisconsin. I see more Wisconsin plates than I do Michigan plates at the boat launches, but it is very untouched. I mean, like, you get out on there, whether you're on the reservoir or you're on one of the little lakes up there. I mean, it is you and probably yourself going after anything that's out there. And typically, they got some pretty big pike or muskie sitting around that you can go after, but
secret waters, nobody goes up there. Well, for people like us down here, it's a doggone far to go.
Well, that's it, right? So, but for Wisconsiners, it's like like opening day of fishing for walleye is huge.
Gotcha.
Right? So, but no, talking these first 3 segments about what you guys have done, you guys have been basically doing all this fundraising. When you do the kids camp, Western Michigan, let us know, and we'll get the word out. We want to check back with CMU to find out if you had an ice fishing tournament or not, and we'll definitely touch base with you on that. But it's our last segment of the show. Well, we got some questions we're going to ask you guys. So one just came in. Well, this isn't from us, but another one is, what is a lake that you would be a bucket list lake to go fish for bass? CMU.
Off the top of my head, there's definitely 3 lakes I want to fish. Okeechobee in Florida. I think it's, I'm going to blank on the name, Lake Fork, and then O.H. Ivy in Texas. Those are definitely bucket list lakes for me.
Okay, Western?
Yeah, and I also had my first one that jumps in my head is Lake Fork. Texas is the bass fishing mecca of fishing. It's just, they catch big fish out there. It's a totally another scene down there. And then I do the St. Lawrence River in New York. It's a beautiful fishery. It's probably the #1 fishery in the world right now for all fishing. And it's amazing. It's beautiful. The fish are untouched. You catch giant bags.
Nice.
Lake Fork is pretty popular. I know the Bass Pro Elite guys go down there, and they're catching some hogs when they're on them, and it's pretty intense. That's for sure down there. But awesome, good job. And so first question is, you guys do a little traveling. Obviously, you're going around the state. You're listening to the radio. What kind of music are you listening to while you're driving to your favorite tournaments, Western?
Wow, you're gonna be like, this guy's kind of weird, because I don't really listen to music, to be 100% honest with you. I actually listen to fishing podcasts. I'm ate up with it. I listen to fishing podcasts, and I normally run out by the time I'm going somewhere, so I just keep loading them up. Whatever I can get my hands on, I listen to.
That's awesome.
CMU?
I listen to fishing podcasts not driving. I don't like to listen to talk radio when I'm driving, but definitely country music or rock and roll, hard rock, the new stuff. And, well, that's me.
All right. While you're driving, listening to your favorite, obviously, fishing podcast, what kind of snacks you got in the truck? Or maybe you're going to take in the boat, but what's your go-to snack that you're going to need? Central.
Definitely our sponsor, Michigan Brand Meats. They have an awesome selection of, meat sticks, jerky, summer sausage. You can't really take it as a snack, but they do have hams also, which are delicious. But yeah, so they have some awesome snack sticks.
You could take ham. You just got to cut it up a little smaller.
I'm thinking ham on a stick as he's driving, right?
Yeah, right.
It's like, all right, Western, what's your go-to snack?
Beef jerky, high protein, quick snack, and then I like pretzels because it's crunchy and has a little flavor to it. That's my go-tos.
All right.
There you go. All right, you guys. So you're gonna cook for Mike and Dan.
We're coming over for dinner.
We're coming over for dinner. Western, what's your go-to outdoor meal that you would say, hey, I need to get this cooked for you?
If you guys are coming over, I'm definitely busting out the bone and ribeye. The biggest steak I can find, nicest cut of meat, with some mashed potatoes and some steamed broccoli. That's what I'd be going for.
All right, Central. That's going to be hard to beat, man.
You're not going to like my answer. You guys want to order a pizza?
He's on the college budget, right?
I like pizza too, though.
Yeah. Mike and I'll eat anything, right? But you know what? That's an awesome answer, actually. So, all right.
He's saving money for fishing.
That's right. Okay. This starts off with Central this time. So we ate dinner. We're going to sit around the campfire. What's a story that you're going to tell us outdoor-wise that resonates with you, whether it be a first time or something in that hits you that, an aha thing? What's your go-to story that you're going to tell Mike and Dan?
I mean, I got a crap ton of stories. One of my go-tos would definitely be a St. Clair tournament I had with the College Bass Tour. It's the best tournament I had. We nearly had 20 pounds. We had 19.63 pounds. It was the biggest bag I've ever weighed in a tournament. Best day of catching, big smallmouth I've had. That's one of them. Or I would jump over to the hunting side and talk about some of my favorite just hunting trips there, some of the bucks I shot and all that.
All right. Western?
I'd probably have to say a couple of years ago I went to the UP with every single one of my male cousins and my uncles. Everyone made it. It was just a really, really cool trip. We all went fishing for a week in a remote part of the UP. We played cards, board games. It was awesome camaraderie. We had great eats the entire week. It was just a really, really great experience, and it just constantly resonates why I like this sport, and every man and woman can bond over it and just have a really good time with it.
That's awesome.
There you go. You can't do anything like that. Like I said, folks, when you're out and about and you see these guys, if you're at the fishing show or if you're on Facebook and want to scroll over to the Central Michigan Bass page or the Western Michigan Bass page, obviously give them a share and like, get the word out about them, because these guys are definitely hitting the tournament trail before the trail to get it done, right?
Chasing their dreams.
Anything else you guys want to cover?
Well, I got a quick question. I don't remember which one, but didn't one of you guys win Angler of the Year?
Yeah, I did. Brandon Burrell and I won Angler of the Year this year for Western, and it was the best, team of the year for the College Bass Tour.
Okay.
So
the best two-man
team.
Pretty
cool achievement. Yeah, we're a two-man team. It was, really, really cool achievement. Our worst finish was 10th place in the championship, but we had a 2nd, 4th, 6th, and an 8th for our AOI points contention.
Okay. All right. Looking at this, like you said, amongst all the other schools and everything, how many colleges compete in this tournament here that you guys you're in every year here for Michigan?
A lot of schools compete in it. We got Lawrence Tech, Ferris, Michigan State. There's some independent colleges that come. Normally at each event, there's anywhere from 40 to 55 boats. So they're sizable tournaments. They're bigger scale, especially for the state of Michigan.
Okay, right on. That's awesome.
Do you guys have an end of the year banquet?
Not usually.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if for the awards, like Angler of the Year or whatever. I thought
I guess you can say last year was kind of our first year doing something like that. Our tournament director got a food truck to come out to our championship, which that was pretty cool. So each of the tournament anglers got a food voucher. And then, of course, the families that came also could just buy food. So that that was kind of our end of the year banquet sort of thing. That was the first year I think we've done that. So that was really cool. And then, of course, they do all the finalization awards then too. And then we also do raffle off prizes and stuff.
Okay,
awesome. And well, this year it's going to be. We're looking at the tour. It looks like it's going to be in Kent County at some lake. Do you find out after the last tournament before that, and then that's where you're going? Is that how that works?
I wouldn't.
Normally they. Oh, go ahead.
I wouldn't think so. Normally they announce it, so we can get hotels or campgrounds or whatever place to stay and pre-fish, so we can kind of figure that out. We do have some hints as to where we're going, but we're not 100% sure.
Well, yeah, Kent County. You pick a lake.
Yeah, that's right.
Right? So
I think that's inaccurate from our hints. I think he did that to cover.
Oh, look at that little sly guy. Yeah, I talked to him a little bit at the show. If you guys reach out to him, tell him you're on the show. I told him you're going to be on the podcast and everything. Maybe down the road we'll get him to be on, talk about how he runs the tour and all that. And Tammy, who's the peanut butters and jellies for?
Okay, I don't know about that.
Right?
I don't know what
I think
that's
she
about.
wants to give us peanut butter and jelly sandwiches.
Oh, okay.
I'd rather take the pizza and the steak.
There you go. Seeing how, there's college rivalries. I know Central and Western, pretty big rivalry here in the state of Michigan.
A little bit.
You guys, you talk smack on the water at all? Because you guys have been pretty polite to each other so far here.
I wouldn't say there's a lot of smack talking, on the water. We're all pretty cordial, people just out, because some people are out there just to have fun and fish, and obviously they're all competitive to an extent, and we're all just mutually respectful of each other. I have never really seen too many people get into it on the water per se.
Okay, all right. Nobody's throwing a banana in somebody's boat or anything like that. I know that's
that might be cause for war there.
Okay, just wondered,
right? So Tammy was like, it meant personal best.
Oh, personal best fish.
Must be.
Yeah.
So, Western, go. Personal best fish.
My personal best fish is like a 5.95 smallmouth. I can't break it. Okay. Yeah, not yet anyway. I'm close. I want
close
that
to the 6-pounder. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Central?
I caught at least a 5-pound largemouth on a lake. I think it was pushing 6, but we didn't have a scale with us to, weigh it. So
okay,
a scale not in the boat. What's wrong?
Well,
with it?
this was when I was a freshman in college. So we would me and my dad were still figuring out this bass fishing stuff. So we didn't have a scale yet. Literally, after that, we bought a scale.
They went to the hardware store and got one right away.
Right? Western Michigan. What are you this year?
Junior, senior?
Sophomore, junior credit.
Okay.
All right. Yep. So you still got a couple more years, and John's Central Michigan's getting ready to say goodbye to the fishing team and go back into the work world and find a. Do you plan on coming back to support the fishing team, CMU?
Absolutely. We have not current, but we have members that still support us that have graduated and moved on. I think that's been one of the nice things about our club is we have a lot of guys that still chat with us and go fishing with each other and all that. So I will definitely be helping these guys out as long as I can.
Yeah, teammates, making friends for a lifetime. That's awesome.
Right, exactly. Well, guys, it's been a fun hour. It's been good to have you on. Like we say, anybody out there that wants to help these guys out, maybe you're an alumni from Central, Deer Camp, or you're an alumni from Western Michigan, Deer Camp. You might want to think about supporting that fishing team with your alumni monies. But yeah, go over to Facebook, go to their Facebook pages, check them out, give them a like and share, and then see what we can do to help these guys. I'm sure we're going to stay in touch with these guys for the year and in coming years because this is really cool and it's in our home state, and these guys are working their butts off to make this a reality and for them guys to enjoy school and do some fishing.
Absolutely. And for a little bit of insight into what he was just talking about, people at Deer Camp Coffee, one of them is from Western, one's from Central.
Yep.
So,
oh boy.
Yeah. They're it's a happy couple. But I guess when it comes to football, what was it that there was something that somebody had to wear somebody else's shirt?
Yeah,
that week
depending on who won
the football game.
Yeah, they got to put the flag in the store and have to wear the other one's jersey.
Okay, so. All right, guys. Well, thanks again, John and John, for both of you guys taking an hour plus out of your evening to sit and talk with us and give us a little insight on what collegiate fishing is all about. So that's going to do it for us this week. Next week
we've got hold on.
He's checking the schedule.
Lowdown Viewer. It is a company That has to do, we met them at ATA. Mark Coleman's going to be on the show with us to help out, because he actually has one, and it's a portable viewer. It's got a whole program within it. It's just not just a viewer for trail cam pics on the fly. So we're going to have them on. We're going to talk about their product, and that will be next week.
All right. All right, that's going to do it for this week, folks. For those of you listening to us on the podcast, make sure you're on iTunes. Make sure you give us a review there. That helps us and helps the people who support us. And don't forget that Danny will be uploading the show to YouTube. So the things that we talk about in the break, as he always says, you can catch on the live stream if you go back and watch it here on Facebook or on YouTube. For those of you who are watching the live stream, or you're catching it live or later on, make sure you go over to John and John's Collegiate pages, give them a like, follow, share. Don't forget to share the show as well, and don't forget to give us a like, follow, share if you're new to watching us. So that's going to do it for us this week, folks. We will be back again next Wednesday at 7:30, and we'll have
Lowdown Viewer
on. Y'all take care, and we'll see you next week.
This episode was brought to you by PSC Archery,
Deer Camp Coffee,
Buck Baits,
JPO Game Calls,
The Island Armory,
Hacker Max,
Sunrise Archery,
and C3 Better the Hunt Technology.
Thanks for listening, and join us again here next week. Until then, remember, as we always like to say, if you're out on the water or in the woods, shoot straight and be safe. Until next week on the Up North Journal.